Two brothers grew up in the same poor family. Same parents, same house, same poverty. Both started with nothing. But one brother stayed poor his entire life. The other brother became wealthy. The difference was not luck, not education, not opportunity. The difference was mindset. This is the story of the two brothers. And it will show you why poor people stay poor and rich people get richer. The first brother's name was Tom. Tom grew up poor. Very poor. His family struggled every day. Not enough food. Not enough money. Not enough anything. Tom saw poverty every day. And Tom learned lessons from poverty. But Tom learned the wrong lessons. Tom learned that money is scarce. Tom learned that rich people are evil. Tom learned that wanting money is greedy. Tom learned that poor people are good and rich people are bad. These lessons became Tom's mindset, his poverty mindset. When Tom became an adult, he got a job. A regular job, safe, stable. Tom worked hard, very hard, but Tom's poverty mindset controlled everything. When Tom got paid, Tom spent everything immediately. Why? Because Tom believed money disappears. Money does not stay, so spend it before it goes. This was Tom's poverty mindset. Tom never saved money. What is the point of saving? Tom thought. Money always disappears anyway. When someone offered Tom a business opportunity, Tom said no immediately. That is too risky. I might lose money. Rich people take advantage of poor people. That person just wants my money. This was Tom's poverty mindset. Tom saw every opportunity as a threat, every investment as a scam, every risk as danger. So Tom never invested, never took chances, never grew. When Tom saw someone succeed, Tom felt angry. They got lucky. They cheated. They exploited people. Rich people are bad. Tom never celebrated other people's success. Tom resented it. This was Tom's poverty mindset. Tom believed that if someone else won, Tom lost. Tom believed wealth was a fixed pie. If someone took a big slice, less remained for everyone else. Tom worked hard for 40 years. Same job, same salary. Never growing. Tom complained constantly. The system is rigged. Rich people have all the advantages. Poor people like me never get a chance. Life is unfair. Tom stayed poor his entire life. Not because Tom did not work hard, but because Tom had a poverty mindset. And a poverty mindset creates poverty. Always. The second brother's name was James. James also grew up poor. Same family. Same poverty. But James learned different lessons from poverty. James looked at poverty and said, I do not want this. I will escape this. Poverty is not my destiny. Poverty is my starting point, not my ending point. James decided poverty was temporary. This became James's mindset, his wealth mindset. When James became an adult, he also got a job. Same type of job as Tom, same salary. But James's wealth mindset changed everything. When James got paid, James saved 10% immediately, every single month. 10% saved. Why? Because James believed money grows. Money multiplies. Money invested becomes more money. This was James's wealth mindset. James saw money as seeds. Plant seeds, grow trees, harvest fruit. So James planted seeds every month. When someone offered James a business opportunity, James investigated. James asked questions. James learned. James calculated risk versus reward. Some opportunities James rejected. Some opportunities James accepted. James invested small amounts, tested, learned. Sometimes James lost money. James called it tuition. "I paid to learn," James said. "Now I know better." This was James's wealth mindset. James saw risk as education, loss as learning, investment as growth. When James saw someone succeed, James felt inspired. If they can do it, I can learn how they did it. Success leaves clues. I will study successful people. I will learn from them. I will apply their strategies. James celebrated other people's success. James learned from it. This was James's wealth mindset. James believed that if someone else won, James could learn how to win too. James believed wealth was unlimited. Someone else's success did not limit James's success. James worked hard for 40 years. But James also worked smart. James saved. James invested. James learned. James grew. James started small businesses. Some failed. James learned. Some succeeded. James grew them. After 40 years, James was wealthy. Not because James worked harder than Tom, but because James had a wealth mindset. And a wealth mindset creates wealth. Tom and James started in the same place, same family, same poverty, same opportunities. But they ended in different places. Tom stayed poor. James became wealthy. Why? Not luck. Not education. Not opportunity. Mindset. Tom had a poverty mindset. James had a wealth mindset. And your mindset determines your life. Now let me show you the differences between poverty mindset and wealth mindset. Because most people have a poverty mindset and do not even know it. Most people are not poor because of circumstances. Most people are poor because of mindset. Change the mindset. Change the life. Poverty mindset says, money is scarce. There is never enough. I must spend it before it disappears. Wealth mindset says, money is abundant. There is always more. I will save it and make it grow. Tom spent everything immediately. James saved 10% always. After 40 years, Tom had nothing. James had millions. Same starting salary. Different mindset. Different result. Poverty mindset says rich people are evil. They exploited others. They got lucky. They cheated. Wealth mindset says rich people learn something. I can learn it too. Success leaves clues. I will study them. Tom resented rich people. James learned from rich people. Tom stayed poor. James became rich. Same information available. Different mindset. Different result. Poverty mindset says investing is risky. I might lose money. It is safer to keep money in my pocket. Wealth mindset says not investing is risky. Inflation destroys money in pockets. Investing grows money over time. Tom never invested. James invested consistently. After 40 years, Tom's money lost value to inflation. James's money multiplied through compound growth. Same money available, different mindset, different result. Poverty mindset says, if someone else wins, I lose. Wealth is a fixed pie. Their success is my failure. Wealth mindset says, someone else's success does not limit my success. Wealth is unlimited. I can learn from their success. Tom was jealous of others' success. James was inspired by others' success. Tom stayed bitter and poor. James stayed motivated and wealthy. Same successful people around them, different mindset, different result. Poverty mindset says, I cannot afford it. I do not have enough money. Wealth mindset says, how can I afford it? What do I need to learn or do to afford it? Tom said, I cannot, and stopped. James said, how can I, and started. Tom stayed stuck. James found solutions, same challenges, different mindset, different result. Poverty mindset says, money is the root of all evil. Wanting money is greedy. Poor people are good. Rich people are bad. Wealth mindset says, money is a tool. Money amplifies who you are. Good people with money do good things. Bad people with money do bad things. Money reveals character. It does not create it. Tom feared money and stayed poor. James embraced money and became wealthy. Tom thought poverty was noble. James thought poverty was preventable. Same moral values available. Different mindset, different result. Now here is the most important truth. You can change your mindset. Tom could have changed his mindset. But Tom never questioned his beliefs about money. Tom never examined his poverty mindset. Tom just accepted it as truth. So Tom stayed poor. James questioned every belief about money. James examined his mindset. James changed beliefs that did not serve him. So James became wealthy. Most people have a poverty mindset because they learned it from poor parents. Your parents taught you about money. If your parents were poor, they taught you poor people's beliefs about money. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but inevitably. You absorbed their mindset. You inherited their beliefs. And now you have a poverty mindset. And a poverty mindset keeps you poor. But here is the good news. You can change your mindset. You can unlearn poverty mindset. You can learn wealth mindset. You can become James instead of Tom. But first, you must recognize your poverty mindset. You must see it clearly. You must admit it exists. Ask yourself these questions. When you get paid, do you spend everything immediately? That is poverty mindset. When you see an investment opportunity, do you immediately think it is a scam? That is poverty mindset. When you see someone succeed, do you feel jealous or angry? That is poverty mindset. When you face a purchase you want, do you say, I cannot afford it, and stop? That is poverty mindset. If you answered yes to these questions, you have a poverty mindset. And your poverty mindset is keeping you poor. Now ask yourself these questions. When you get paid, do you save a portion automatically? That is wealth mindset. When you see an investment opportunity, do you investigate and learn? That is wealth mindset. When you see someone succeed, do you feel inspired and curious? That is wealth mindset. When you face a purchase you want, do you ask, how can I afford it, and problem solve? That is wealth mindset. If you answered yes to these questions, you have a wealth mindset. And your wealth mindset will make you wealthy. Tom stayed poor for 40 years because Tom never changed his mindset. Tom worked hard. Tom was honest. Tom was a good person. But Tom had a poverty mindset. And poverty mindset creates poverty no matter how hard you work. James became wealthy in 40 years because James changed his mindset early. James also worked hard. James was also honest. James was also a good person. But James had a wealth mindset. And wealth mindset creates wealth. Here is what happened when they were both 60 years old. Tom had no savings. Tom worked until he died. Tom complained about life being unfair until his last day. Tom blamed the system, blamed rich people, blamed luck. Tom never took responsibility for his poverty, because taking responsibility meant admitting his mindset was wrong, and Tom could not admit that. So Tom stayed poor and bitter. James had millions. James retired at 55. James lived comfortably. James helped his children. James donated to charity. James enjoyed life. James was grateful. James thanked himself for changing his mindset 40 years earlier. James knew the truth. His wealth was not luck. His wealth was the result of his mindset. Wealth mindset created his wealth. Before James died, he wrote a letter to his children. This is what he said. Your Uncle Tom and I started in the same place, same poverty, same family, same opportunities. But we ended in different places. I became wealthy. He stayed poor. The difference was not luck. The difference was mindset. I had a wealth mindset. He had a poverty mindset. I am writing this letter to tell you the truth. Poverty is not noble. Poverty is not destiny. Poverty is a mindset. If you have a poverty mindset, you will stay poor no matter how hard you work. If you have a wealth mindset, you will become wealthy if you work hard and work smart. Change your mindset. Change your life. I changed mine. That is why you have inheritance. That is why you have opportunities. Because I chose wealth mindset over poverty mindset. Choose wisely. If you have a poverty mindset, you must change it. Not tomorrow. Today. Start questioning your beliefs about money. Where did these beliefs come from? Are they serving you? Are they true? Tom inherited poverty mindset from poor parents and never questioned it. James inherited poverty mindset too, but questioned everything and changed it. You can do what James did. Question, learn, change. Start small. Save 10% of every payment. Just 10%. This trains wealth mindset. This shows money can grow, not just disappear. Learn about investing. Read books. Take courses. Study wealthy people, not to resent them, to learn from them. Celebrate others' success, not because you are fake, because their success proves success is possible. Ask, how can I? Instead of saying, I cannot. This opens your mind to solutions instead of closing it with limitations. Tom and James prove the truth. Poverty is often a mindset, not just circumstances. Yes, circumstances matter. Yes, some people face more obstacles, but mindset matters more. Because people with wealth mindset overcome obstacles. People with poverty mindset stay stuck even with opportunities. Change your mindset first. Everything else follows. Tom stayed poor with poverty mindset. James became wealthy with wealth mindset. Which brother will you be?